In the heart of the ancient forest stood the Ents, towering guardians of the woodland realm. Their forms were like living trees with bark-covered skin and limbs that stretched skyward like gnarled branches. Deep within their eyes gleamed the wisdom of ages past, and their movements were as deliberate and slow as the flow of time itself. Each Ent possessed a unique appearance, some adorned with thick foliage resembling crowns atop their heads, while others bore the weathered look of ancient oaks. Despite their imposing stature, they exuded a sense of peace and serenity, deeply connected to the rhythms of the forest. Ents spoke in a language all their own known as Entish, a slow and deliberate tongue that mirrored their patient nature. Through this language, they communicated not only with each other, but also with the very essence of the forest itself. As guardians of the woodland, the Ents were entrusted with the task of protecting their home from harm. Their presence was a testament to the enduring strength of nature, their roots intertwined with the earth, their voices echoing through the rustling leaves and swaying branches. In times of need, the Ents would gather together beneath the ancient trees, their voices rising in a chorus of wisdom and determination. For they knew that as long as they stood united, they could overcome any challenge that threatened the balance of the forest and the world beyond. For centuries, the Ents thrived in harmony with their surroundings, their language spoken in whispers through the rustling leaves and the creaking branches. Through the intricate network of roots that crisscrossed the forest floor, the Ents communicated with a silent language all their own. Like whispers in the earth, their thoughts and feelings flowed through the soil, connecting them to each other and to the heart of the forest. Each root was a conduit of knowledge and understanding, carrying messages and insights over vast distances. When one Ent sensed a disturbance in the forest, they would send a signal through their roots, a subtle pulse that reverberated through the earth. As the message traveled, it would be picked up by other Ents, their roots tingling with the faint echoes of their kin's thoughts. Like a communal consciousness, the Ents would share their observations and concerns, pooling their collective wisdom to decipher the mysteries of the forest. Through this silent dialogue, the Ents remained ever vigilant, alert to the slightest changes in their surroundings, whether it be the subtle shift of the wind or the distant rumble of thunder. They were attuned to the rhythms of the natural world, ready to act as stewards and protectors of their beloved home. Once the land of the Ents thrived in verdant abundance, a lush tapestry of greenery, nourished by the life-giving waters of the great river that flowed through their forest home. The canopy overhead was a dense mosaic vibrant leaves dappling the forest floor with shifting patterns of sunlight. The air was alive with the hum of insects and the song of birds, while the earth beneath their roots teemed with vitality. But as the seasons wore on, a subtle change began to take hold. The once mighty river, which had long been the life blood of the forest, slowed to a mere trickle, its waters diminishing with each passing day. Where there had once been a rushing torrent, there now lay only dry riverbeds and parched earth. The effects of the dwindling river were felt throughout the land. The once lush foliage began to wither and fade, leaving behind a landscape marred by brown and wilted leaves. The creatures of the forest, from the smallest insects to the mightiest beast, struggled to find sustenance in the face of dwindling resources. For the Ents, who drew their strength and vitality from the rhythms of the natural world, the decline of the river was a dire portent. Without its life-giving waters, their home would soon become uninhabitable, unable to sustain the population that had flourished within its borders for countless generations. As they gathered beneath the ancient trees to discuss the plight that beset them, the Ents felt the weight of their responsibility pressing down upon them. The survival of their forest home depended on their ability to uncover the cause of the river's decline and to take action before it was too late. The Ents felt the strain, their roots thirsting for the life-giving sustenance that had sustained them for eons. Gathering together in a circle beneath the boughs of the oldest tree, the Ents convened to discuss the plight that beset their home. Their voices resonated through the forest, slow and deliberate, as they pondered the cause of the river's decline. Through their interconnected roots, they reached out, seeking answers from every corner of the forest. They felt the whispers of the earth, the murmurs of the creatures that dwelled within, and the sighs of the wind as it passed through the branches. In their quest to uncover the cause of the river's decline, the Ents embarked on a journey of discovery, their movements slow and deliberate as they traversed the length and breadth of their forest home. Drawing upon the ancient wisdom that resided within their collective consciousness, they searched for signs and clues that might lead them to the source of the blockage. As they wandered through the shadowed depths of the forest, the Ents observed the subtle changes in their surroundings, attuned to the rhythms of the natural world. They listened to the whispers of the wind as it rustled through the leaves, felt the vibrations of the earth beneath their roots, and watched the play of light and shadow upon the forest floor. Guided by their instinct and intuition, the Ents followed the course of the river, tracing its path from its source high in the mountains to the point where it disappeared beneath the earth. The path took them through many obstacles. Most difficult of all were the ravines. The Ents approached the treacherous ravines with a measured sense of caution, their slow and deliberate movements betraying a deep respect for the dangers that lay ahead. Each crevice yawned wide before them, its jagged edges obscured by the tangled undergrowth that clung to its sides. With their massive forms towering over the landscape, the Ents surveyed the chasm before them, their ancient eyes scanning the depths below. They knew that crossing the ravines would require careful planning and coordination, for even the slightest misstep could spell disaster. Pooling their collective wisdom, the Ents devised a plan to traverse the ravines safely. They sought out sturdy branches and fallen trees, fashioning them into makeshift bridges that spanned the gaping chasms. With painstaking precision, they secured the makeshift structures in place, anchoring them to the solid ground on either side of the ravines. Slowly and methodically, the Ents began to cross the bridges, their massive forms moving with a grace that belied their immense size. Each step was taken with utmost care, their heavy footfalls echoing through the forest as they made their way across the precarious spans. As they reached the other side, the Ents breathed a collective sigh of relief, their faces bathed in the warm light of the sun. Though the journey had been perilous, they had succeeded in overcoming the obstacles that stood in their path, drawing ever closer to uncovering the mystery of the river's decline. After conquering the most difficult part of their expedition, the Ents paused to rest amidst the sheltering embrace of the ancient trees, their massive forms sinking slowly to the forest floor. With limbs like gnarled branches and bark-covered skin weathered by centuries of existence, they settled into a state of quiet repose, their breathing slow and measured. Surrounded by the murmuring chorus of the forest, the Ents found solace in the gentle rustle of leaves and the soft sighs of the wind. Some leaned against the sturdy trunks of the trees, their rough skin blending seamlessly with the bark, while others reclined upon the moss-covered earth, their limbs sprawled out in relaxation. As they rested, the Ents exchanged stories and shared memories, their voices rising in a slow and deliberate cadence. They spoke of ages long past, of forests teeming with life and rivers flowing freely. Their words a testament to the enduring bond that united them as guardians of the woodland realm. In the dappled light of the forest canopy, the Ents found respite from the rigors of their journey, their minds drifting into a state of quiet contemplation. They savored the fleeting moments of peace, knowing that soon they would once again be called upon to continue their quest to restore balance to their beloved home. And as the shadows lengthened and the stars began to twinkle overhead, the Ents stirred from their rest, their movements slow and deliberate as they prepared to resume their journey. For though the road ahead was fraught with challenges, they knew that with patience and perseverance, they would prevail in their quest to uncover the secrets of the forest and ensure its survival for generations to come. The next day, now with renewed determination, the Ents pressed onward, their spirits lifted by the knowledge that they were one step closer to restoring balance to their beloved forest home. And as they disappeared into the depths of the woodland, the echoes of their slow and deliberate footsteps lingered in the air. At last, as they reached the heart of the forest, the Ents stumbled upon a hidden cavern nestled deep within the earth. There they found the source of the river, its waters choked by a tangled mass of roots that had grown unchecked over the years, blocking the flow of water and strangling the life from the land. With a solemn resolve, the Ents set to work, their massive forms bending and twisting as they laboriously cleared away the obstruction. Day turned to night, and night to day, as the Ents toiled tirelessly, their movements steady and sure. With each passing moment, the river began to stir. Working together in perfect harmony, they pulled and tugged at the stubborn roots, their movements slow but sure, until at last the final root was removed, and with a thunderous roar, the river burst forth from the cavern, its waters cascading down the rocky slopes with newfound vigor. As the waters surged forth from the cavern, washing away the last traces of the blockage, the Ents stood tall amidst the rushing torrent, their faces bathed in the spray. For in that moment they knew that they had fulfilled their sacred duty as guardians of the forest, ensuring the survival of their home for generations to come. After a successful mission, the Ents embarked on their slow walk home, their massive forms moving with a sense of quiet satisfaction. Each step was deliberate, the rhythm of their movements echoing the unhurried pulse of the forest itself. As they made their way through the dappled shadows of the woodland, the Ents exchanged contented murmurs, their voices blending with the rustle of leaves and the gentle sigh of the wind. They reveled in the knowledge that they had fulfilled their sacred duty as guardians of the forest, restoring balance to their beloved home with their own hands. Along the way, they paused to admire the beauty of their surroundings, the vibrant hues of the foliage, and the delicate tracery of sunlight filtering through the branches above. They drank deeply of the sweet scent of wildflowers and listened to the joyful chorus of birdsong that filled the air. With each passing moment, the forest seemed to come alive around them. The very essence of the woodland realm rejoicing in their triumph. Creatures great and small emerged from their hiding places to greet the returning heroes, their eyes shining with gratitude and respect. And as they neared the heart of the forest, the Ents felt a sense of peace settle over them like a comforting blanket. Their spirits buoyed by the knowledge that they had protected their home from harm. With every slow and measured step, they drew closer to the sheltering embrace of the ancient trees, their journey nearing its end, but their bond with the forest enduring for eternity. As the Ents' colossal feet made contact with the soft moss carpeting the forest floor, a sensation of profound tranquility washed over them. The velvety texture of the moss yielded gently beneath their weight, cradling their enormous strides with a sense of natural cushioning. With each step, the Ents felt the cool embrace of the moss between their rough toes, a soothing sensation that reverberated through their entire beings. It was as though the forest itself reached out to welcome them, offering its silent approval of their job well done. The scent of damp earth and decaying leaves mingled with the faint fragrance of the moss, filling the air with the unmistakable perfume of the forest. It was a scent that spoke of ages past, of ancient trees and hidden glades, and of the timeless bond that united the Ents with their woodland home. As they walked, the Ents savored the sensation of connection with the earth beneath their feet. Their movements slow and deliberate, in perfect harmony with the rhythms of the natural world. With each step, they felt a sense of grounding and belonging, as though they were an integral part of the forest itself. And as they journeyed onward, the soft caress of the moss beneath their feet served as a reminder of the delicate balance that existed between all living things, a balance that the Ents had sworn to protect with every fiber of their being. As the sun set on the horizon, casting golden rays through the forest canopy, the Ents gathered once more beneath the ancient tree. Their voices rose in a chorus of gratitude, their hearts filled with joy at the restoration of their home. A sense of profound exhaustion, mingled with overwhelming contentment, settled over them. Their massive forms eased down amidst the ancient trees, finding solace in the familiar embrace of their woodland sanctuary. Despite their weariness, a deep sense of satisfaction filled their hearts, held up by the knowledge that they had succeeded in their mission to restore balance to their beloved forest. They exchanged quiet murmurs of fulfillment, their voices blending harmoniously with the rustle of leaves and the soft sigh of the wind. Gazing out across the expanse of their woodland domain, the Ents felt a profound connection to the land that surrounded them. Their roots entwined with the very essence of the forest itself, they reveled in the beauty of their surroundings, the vibrant hues of the foliage slowly turning golden in the rays of the setting sun. As they settled into a state of peaceful rest, the weariness of their journey began to melt away, replaced by a sense of profound gratitude for the privilege of protecting their home. They knew that their work was far from over, but in that moment, they allowed themselves to bask in the simple joy of returning to the sanctuary of their forest haven. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow across the treetops, the Ents closed their eyes, their tired but happy hearts filled with a sense of deep fulfillment. For in that moment, they knew that they had fulfilled their sacred duty as guardians of the forest, ensuring its survival for generations to come. The Ents found themselves enveloped in a cocoon of tranquil stillness. With a collective sigh of contentment, they allowed the weariness of their journey to wash over them like a gentle tide surrendering to the embrace of sleep. One by one, their massive forms settled into the moss-covered earth, their limbs sprawling out in a gesture of surrender to the natural world. The rhythmic chorus of their breathing echoed through the forest, a slow and steady cadence that mirrored the pulse of the land itself. Beneath the shimmering canopy of leaves, the Ents lay in peaceful repose, their rough bark skin bathed in the soft glow of moonlight filtering through the branches above. As the night deepened, the sounds of the forest faded into the background, replaced by the hushed symphony of the woodland realm at rest. The rustle of leaves, the gentle whisper of the wind, and the occasional chirp of a nocturnal creature served as a lullaby, lulling the Ents into a state of profound serenity. And as the last traces of consciousness slipped away, the Ents succumbed to the embrace of sleep, their minds drifting into a realm of dreams and visions. In that moment of peace, they were united not only with each other, but with the very spirit of the forest itself, their roots entwined with the earth, their spirits soaring among the branches as they surrendered to the timeless embrace of slumber. Good night, little ones. Sweet dreams.